This right here is the POCO X5 Pro. It is a rebranded version of the Redmi Note 12 Pro Speed Edition that launched in China. Now this phone is not too different from the Redmi Note 12 Pro, but there's one thing that makes it special, and that is the Snapdragon 778G chip inside it. We've seen a lot of phones that launched in the 20 to 30,000 price category with the new Dimensity 1080 chip, but this one is Snapdragon 778G. Now the Snapdragon 778G is definitely more powerful than 1080, and I'll come to that in a bit. Now I've been using the POCO X5 Pro for the past week and a half as my primary driver. It's got the Airtel 5G and Jio 5G SIM that I regularly use inside it, and what follows is my experience of using the phone. Now if you don't know me yet, I'm Ershad. You're watching Trakin Tech English. Let's review the POCO X5 Pro, shall we? Now since I made a reference of the Snapdragon 778G in the start, let me talk about the performance that I experienced with the POCO X5 Pro first. Specs wise, of course, you've also got LPDDR4X RAM and UFS 2.2 storage. The two variants that you get with the POCO X5 Pro are 6128GB and 8256GB. Now here's the thing, in Antutu and in Geekbench multi-core score, the Snapdragon 778G scores much higher than the 1080. And I also ran a CPU throttle test on the POCO X5 Pro, and I got a stability of 90%, which is again higher than the 1080 toting phones. Now while the CPU is more powerful and it's also stable, the GPU is also actually very powerful on the POCO X5 Pro with the Snapdragon 778G. Now what you get on Call of Duty, the graphics setting that you get is medium, ultra and very high and max, and the game runs very smoothly. And considering this is a flat display and 240Hz of touch sampling rate, the gaming experience is very good and the phone doesn't heat up at all. You've got a very high dissipation area as well, thanks to the VC cooling chamber that you get with it. In comparison, the 1080 cannot reach that kind of graphics in Call of Duty. You get high, very high and low and max. Now as far as performance is concerned, if you're considering a phone between the Realme 10 Pro Plus, the Redmi Note 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Plus and this POCO X5 Pro, I would say the POCO X5 Pro is the one that you should pick. But of course, you can also get the Redmi K50i with Dimensity 8100, so keep that in mind as well. And another thing that I noticed in daily performance while using the phone is that POCO launcher with MIUI 14 is absolutely fast and smooth. And you can also change the animation speeds on the phone with 778G. It just flies. By the way, if you're here on our channel for the very first time, or if you've already watched our videos and haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe. We would love your support because it helps us, motivates us to make more, detailed videos like these for you. Now that we're done with the performance, let's talk about the design of the phone. And boy, I love this. This yellow-black aesthetic is completely up my alley. This is a design that I absolutely adore. Now, if you don't like this color variant of the phone, firstly, you cannot be my friend, but secondly, you've got two other variants, a blue and a black variant of the phone as well. See, the POCO X5 Pro is an all plastic design, so keep that in mind, but it's extremely slim, 7.9 millimeters, and the in-hand feel is fantastic. It's a boxy design, but it feels really good in the hand. And what I particularly like about this design is this, shade of yellow for the power button. It's kind of whimsical, but cool as well. And of course, this power button also has the embedded fingerprint scanner, really fast to unlock, no problem there. And above that is the volume rocker as well. And when it comes to the ports and buttons, Xiaomi and POCO never miss a beat. You get a 3.5mm headphone jack, you get an infrared scanner, you get a Type-C port at the bottom and proper stereo speakers as well. But if you're looking for a micro SD card slot, that's not available on this phone. Now the 3.5mm headphone jack is also high-res certified, so if you're using a good pair of earphones, they will sound good. Now talking about the speaker, right, you get Dolby Atmos support as well. And it's loud, it's rich, just like how the Redmi Note 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Plus sound. But one thing I noticed with this is because the phone is slim, it sort of vibrates a little too much. The panel vibrates on the rear, especially when there is a lot of bass in the music. But that's something that you feel when you hold the phone in the hand. Otherwise, it's not, that evident. Anyway, take a listen to the sound right next to the Redmi Note 12 Pro and tell me what you guys think. Now, as far as the industrial design and build quality is concerned, I like it. It's a 2 thumbs up from me. This is plastic done right. Now, talking about the display, it's the same high quality display that you get at the Redmi Note 12 Pro and the Note 12 Pro Plus. But one thing I noticed is that POCO sent across the spec sheet of the phone, and this is a POLED panel. Doesn't make too much of a difference. It's still an OLED panel, so extremely deep blacks is what you can expect. So this is a 6.67-inch display with 120Hz refresh rate, and it's a variable refresh rate, so you get 30, 16, 90, and it works really well. The refreshing is very smooth as well. Apart from that, you've got 100% DCI-P3 color gamut. You use the professional mode. The color tuning is very natural too, and you get a 10-bit display with Dolby Vision support. Now, Dolby Vision support is also available on Netflix, and HDR content generally looks very good on this display. Also, with respect to brightness, it can do 500 nits of brightness in regular mode, but 900 nits in peak brightness, when you're watching HDR content. And that 500 nits might seem low, but when you take it outside, the auto brightness actually shoots up even higher. So it's actually very bright even outdoors, no problem there, even if you are under a direct bright sunlight. Now, this is a very, very good panel, no doubt about that whatsoever. The touch response is also very good in regular usage. Now, talking about the haptic feedback, you do get an X-axis vibration motor, and it is tuned pretty decently. It's actually better than the Redmi Note 12 Pro, so that's definitely a good thing. Alright, now let's talk about the cameras. This is the very first time POCO has used a 108 megapixel camera. It's the Samsung HM2, and you get an 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 2MP macro and a 16MP selfie camera on the front. Now, unfortunately, I didn't have a time to do a comparison, which I'll definitely do later, but I did test out the cameras extensively. And what I noticed is that the 108 megapixel camera actually is pretty crisp at capturing details in daylight. But the colors are not very accurate in general, especially the facial tones are completely off. This is something that they should have taken care of, in my opinion. But if you shoot portraits of your friends, then they have a decent edge cutout, and the depth mapping is pretty good too. I think Xiaomi's algorithm, which has been tuned so well for so many years, is actually coming in handy, even for POCO when it's shooting pictures. Now, in HDR scenes, what I noticed is that the highlight control is actually very good. So if there is an overexposed scene in the background, then it manages to control that very well. Now, the shadow detail is kind of missing, and it's kind of dark as well. This is something that POCO should have balanced it slightly better with the algorithm. Low light shots, on the other hand, are surprisingly good with night mode. They're extremely crisp actually, and you can actually share them on social media without any worry. But one of the things that I noticed with low light is that sometimes there is a warm sort of tone that creeps in if there is a lot of white in the scene that you're shooting, but otherwise not too much of a problem in low light. I kind of liked it. What I particularly also liked in low light is that it maintains the dynamics of the scene really well. So if there are too many bright light sources, and it sort of controls that very well and creates a very good looking picture. Now, ultra wide, as most 8 megapixel ultra wide angles go, they are sharp enough but not the best, of course, and the color science consistency is again not good. That is something that I've noticed on a lot of phones in this price range, is that color science consistency is that they're not able to manage, most brands are not able to manage that well. Ultra wide low light, however, similar to the primary low light, is actually pretty decent. Now, coming to the macro, you get a 2 megapixel macro camera, and I don't like them. You might. So if you're considering 2 megapixel macro camera battles, then Xiaomi POCO win the race, but there's not enough resolution to play with, right? Now, talking about selfies, the face tones are completely off. They do look good because the selfies are crisp, but it could have been better with facial tones, and the HDR performance is not the best either. Now, with the primary camera, you can shoot only up to 4K 30 FPS. 4K 60 FPS is not possible, but 4K 30 FPS with EIS, so that's good. Actually, video recording quality and audio recording quality in daylight is pretty good. You can actually get good footage that you want to share on social media, or even if you want to create Instagram reels, you can trust it. In fact, even low light performance is good. I shot this at the Galaxy Unpacked, and you can listen to the sound. The sound quality is also pretty good. The way POCO captures sound is similar to how Xiaomi Redmi Note 12 Pro and the 12 Pro Plus do, and it's good. While selfie videos at 4K is not possible, 1080p 60 FPS is possible, and stabilization is pretty decent too. Selfie video performance is similar to selfie camera performance. Facial tones are what are a problem, but otherwise crisp quality footage. Overall, the camera performance is good enough for social media, and if you work with the cameras, then you can get good images. But then again, I think a comparison would probably give us a clearer idea of exactly how the POCO X5 Pro performs in this price category. So if you guys do want a comparison, let me know in the comment section below which phones you would like it to be compared with. Alright, now talking about battery life, you get a 5000 mAh battery. Despite being a slim phone, 5000 mAh inside, that's pretty good. And you get a 67 watt charger in the box, and it charges at 67 watt speeds as well. And you can charge from 0 to 100 in about 47 minutes, which is not too bad. One of the problems with MIUI is that there is no proper way to check screen on time. I know a lot of you folks suggested that check digital well-being, but it's not very accurate if you ask me. Regardless, I think that the battery performance is good. You can last a day and a half on a single charge. But what I feel is that the 1080 is slightly better. You can get about half an hour more screen on time with the 1080 compared to the 778G. Alright, let's talk about the software experience. POCO Launcher with MIUI 14 and Android 12 is what you get. Now, POCO says that you'll get 2 years of software updates and 3 years of security updates. So 2 years of software updates would mean you'll get Android 13 and Android 14. Now, in comparison, brands like Realme, Oppo, OnePlus, Motorola, all all of those brands that operate in this price category, even Vivo and iQOO for that matter, all of them offer Android 13 right out of the box. Should have been Android 13, right? Anyway, once I booted up the phone, there are bloatware apps, of course. I don't see a reason why Moj and Bubble Shooter should be pre-installed. But the good thing is that Xiaomi and POCO have improved on the fact that they do not have those, ads from system apps coming in a lot or pesky notifications either. Sometimes the, MIUI App Store does throw in a notification, but it's not too bad. By the way, there is one thing I noticed is that once I got this pop-up for a, advanced search option. Now don't click on that and don't accept it if you do buy the phone, primarily because it is something that is ad basically, and it will capture your data. Like I mentioned in the Realme 10 Pro Plus video, POCO is also working with branch metrics for the same. So you don't want to give out your data to branch metrics for no reason, right? Anyway, when you talk about POCO Launcher, right, I kind of prefer it over MIUI because it's slicker and you've got those categories in the app drawer as well. All of those are really nicely done. And you've got all of the other Android 12 features apart from, MIUI and POCO features that you get specifically along with it. I also do like the fact that you can change the icon pack, which is something that I absolutely love. But more importantly, in my time with the POCO X5 Pro, there were no bugs, 0 bugs. That's good. But you can encounter bugs, but I didn't. So that's definitely a good thing. So overall, POCO X5 Pro, I think it fixes the one problem that I had with the Redmi Note 12 Pro, 12 Pro Plus, and of course the Realme 10 Pro Plus as well. And that is performance. 778G is definitely better than 1080. Plus, I can't get over the fact at how good this phone looks. If you were to show me the POCO X5 Pro right next to it, if you had the Redmi Note 12 Pro, the 12 Pro Plus and the Realme 10 Pro Plus, I'd pick this phone any day. And you should also. Now, POCO's Himanshu Gupta did mention in his interview on Trakin Tech, where Arun interviewed him, he mentioned clearly that they only will launch phones that will be the best in that segment that they want to operate in. So is the POCO X5 Pro the best in the segment that it operates in? In that mission, they do succeed. Although I am aware of the many issues that POCO users had with dead motherboards and all those, I know that a lot of you did take to the comments as well, but Himanshu clearly mentioned that POCO is working very, very strongly on it and addressing these concerns by giving, extended warranty as well. So hopefully those things shouldn't crop up anymore. What do you guys think of the POCO X5 Pro? What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comment section below. For more such useful reviews, you know where to go. Trakin Tech English. So subscribe. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep tracking and stay safe.